Hello everybody and thank you for joining me. This is Ciara from Ciara T Designs and today I have an Easter card to share with you guys. So let's jump right in. So as always, I do like to cut down my cardstock first. So I do have an A2 sized base and then I'm going to cut down my black mat to be about 1/8 of an inch smaller than my A2 base. And then my panel that I'm actually going to blend on, which is HammerMill Cardstock, I'm going to cut that down to be about 1/4 of an inch smaller than my A2 base so that I get really thin, nice layers across all of the pieces of cardstock. And I did want to slip in one more Easter card. I realized that Easter's pretty much over by this point, but I really wanted to get this one more card in, so I chose to make this an Easter card as well. And I think that you could change the sentiment on this and make it a birthday card or any kind of card you wanted to and could still use this exact same design. I just chose to turn it into an Easter card. So I do have this stencil here. This is probably one of my most used stencils, and it is from Waffle Flower. It's the Spotlight Circle stencil, and they have other shapes. I just really like the circle version of it. And they also have guidelines on the background. So that's what you see me lining up. It's kind of etched into the stencil and you can line up your paper so that you can kind of make sure that it's centered and lined up. And then I did add a little bit of low tack tape just to hold the stencil there, although it does shift a little bit on me, but that's okay. I catch it quick enough. And then for the background, I used 3 colors of Distress Oxide ink in Shabby Shutters, Scattered Straw, and Spun Sugar. And then I'm going to bring in some other colors of Oxide just for the cups that I add on top. And these inks are pretty vibrant. I just re-inked the ink pads, so they're very juicy. So that's why you see me kind of dab off some of the ink, especially the ones that I've just redone because I'm going to teach a class here next week and it's blending. So I did re-ink all of the colors that I was using for that class, and a couple of those colors are in this card design. So you can see here, this one's very, very inky. So I just kind of lightly dab my dome foam on the ink pad and then kind of tap a little bit of it off so that it doesn't just saturate the cardstock right away. So it gives me a chance to kind of blend it into the other colors. But yeah, so I just kind of went through those 3 colors and blended them across until I was happy with them. And again, I did choose light colors because I am aiming for a spring Easter card, but you could of course choose any color variation that you wanted to use. I just thought that this would be a really pretty blend of the 3 colors that kind of were spring Easter themed. And then while I still have the stencil in place, I'm going to splatter just a touch of Perfect Pearls that I keep mixed up in a mini mister bottle on the side there, just for a little added shimmer and shine. This step isn't necessary, but I think that it adds just a little bit of something extra. So I do like to bring that in. And then for the focal image, I'm going to use the Tim Holtz Papercut Cafe. And they're just these little cups. I think there's 5 cup designs and 2 saucer designs, and then the little like steam that sits at the top. And you can kind of see that I have them all set aside, and I am using my Sidekick for this because the cups are so small, they're really easy to run through the Sidekick. And on the back of the dies, it tells you what cups go together. So I left the cuts inside the pieces of cardstock that I've die cut. I've left them inside the dies, and then I just lined them up so that I knew which layers went together. And then the steam I am going to cut just out of white cardstock as well. I forgot to cut it here, but I just cut it off camera after I'd finished cutting everything. And so I did the base layer and the first layer out of just white cardstock, and I'm going to blend on some Oxide after. And then for the top layer, which is like your highlight layer, I actually brought in some white glitter cardstock. So you just get a little extra shimmer and shine on the card design. And I think that turned out super cute. I love this die set. Anything, tea related, I'm pretty excited about. I mean, these could be coffee cups if that's your preference, but in my mind, they're teacups just because I don't drink coffee. So that's kind of what I think when I see them. And I did run the glitter cardstock through twice just to make sure that I got a good cut, and I double checked the back before I brought out the pieces so that if I had to run it through again, I would easily be able to. And then I just lined up all the pieces on the bottom there. You can see that they're all just together, and then that makes it easier when I go to put them together once they're out of the die cuts, that I don't get them mixed up. So yeah, it was really fun to kind of die cut all these stuff and have it here ready to go. And then for coloring them, as I said, I'm going to bring in some more Oxide inks. You could, of course, use pattern paper for this. You could use your Copics, however you want to. But I chose to use my Oxide inks in a couple of colors here. And their colors I don't grab very often. So I'm going to use Victorian Velvet, which is what you see here. And I have to admit, I think this might be one of my new favorite colors. It's just this beautiful dusty rose color, and I've never used it before, and I love it. It's so pretty. So don't be surprised if you see this pop up in future makes, because I really thought it was gorgeous here. I'm going to also use Shaded Lilac on the second cup. And then for the third one, I'm going to use Speckled Egg. And that kind of just gave me this, pink, purple, bluey gray set of cups. And I thought they just looked really pretty. So I love the choices that I used here, but again, you could use any color choices. These are just the ones that I used. And Shaded Lilac is another color I just re-inked. So you can see that it's quite juicy, and that's why I tap the color off onto the mat. And then I kind of grab from there when I need some more color. So if you watched my live stream that I did Thursday, you will know that I was nervous and I had a lot of fun. And if you did pop in and join me, thank you so much for hanging out with me. And if you watched the replay, thank you for just checking it out. It was about, I think, an hour and a half after everything was said and done. And I created new dome foam storage, which is what these foams are actually sitting on off to the side. You can't see it. But that's what I did in that live, and I had a lot of fun. And then I had some people show some interest in doing a live making envelopes with the 123 punch board, or the slimline punch board, whichever one I have to use depending on what the card is. So I thought that might be a fun live stream for the next time we do a live stream. So I'm going to have on the community tab, like I did last time, a couple of different dates and times. And if you want to come and join me and hang out, please go and vote on what time and day would be the best for you. And whichever one gets the most votes will be the day that I go live. It will have to be within the next 2 weeks, just because I need the envelopes for a market that I believe starts on the 18th of April. So I need to get those envelopes made, fairly quickly. So the live will have to happen here pretty quickly. So that is something to check. So if you're interested and you want to come hang out, go and vote on a day and time that works best for you. And if there isn't one listed, because I don't know what times would be most appropriate for people who are in like the UK. So tell me a time of day in PST ideally, because I don't know other time zones very well. I know Eastern's 3 hours ahead, but I don't know how far UK is ahead. So if you could leave it in PST, that would be awesome. And tell me a time that would work better for you, because I would love to be able to hang out with some of my, UK people or international, if you're international people, anybody like that, let me know. So if you can make a time and day that I've got posted, awesome, click that one. And if there's a time of day that would work better, let me know in like PST, and I'll see if I can do that maybe for the next one after this one. So we can kind of get that figured out, because I love for everybody to be able to be included. So let me know and we'll go from there. But here you can see I'm just adhering the cups together. You see that I did the 2 colored layers the exact same color. I didn't change that. You absolutely could. You could pick a darker color or lighter color and have that variation. I didn't. I kind of wanted this to be my version of a clean and simple card, which you guys know if you've been with me for a minute, clean and simple is not my specialty. I do tend to be a bit more is more style crafting. But so I wanted these to be, not crazy over the top with all the colors and layers and whatnot. So I just kind of went with flat color and then a little bit of a highlight. And I think that they turned out super cute. I think it's pretty hard not to have these tiny cups turn out cute, because they're just on their own, they're adorable. So it doesn't matter what color you add, they're still going to be adorable. And then for the steam, it's only 2 layers. So I did the base layer in just my regular HammerMill cardstock. And then I did add the highlight, which was the glitter cardstock. And then for the little plate that my cups are all sitting on, or saucer, I guess it would be, I went in with Lost Shadow and just added just a touch of color. So it had a different color than the background, but it didn't really pull the focus, because that's not where I want your eye to go. That's kind of what I was thinking. And I don't end up cutting the steam off in the video. I haven't decided yet. The steam is currently still sticking off of the card, and I could just make it an envelope that's, slightly wider than it needs, than a usual A2 card. But I just left the steam for now. I may go and trim it. It's just a tiny amount that's hanging off, and then it would just fit in a regular A2 sized card. So I haven't decided yet, or a envelope, sorry, not a card. So I did add some thin 3D foam squares to the back of my cups after I stacked them up and then adhered it to the little saucer. And that's really honestly just to add a touch of dimension. You don't need this step. Honestly, they're like, 1/16 of an inch thick. Like, they're tiny. So if you don't have them or you don't want to add them, don't. They add such a little amount of dimension. It's just something. It just gives it a touch more interest. And I thought that was kind of neat. And then I did consider going in and adding like some white highlights, maybe like a polka dot pattern or something on the cups. But in the end, I changed my mind and decided to just leave them as they are. I think they're super cute, and this lets the card be a little more simple. But if you want to, by all means, you could go and add like little polka dots to one card with a white gel pen and maybe stripes on another cup, that kind of stuff. So that option is definitely there. This is just what I chose to do with it. So I kind of wanted it to be a little more simple. And then for the sentiment, I actually brought in a Simon Says stamp set. It's Hoppy Days Ahead. And it just had this really nice Easter, like Happy Easter sentiment. And I thought that was kind of fitting. So I just kind of adhered it. I just stamped it below the cups and the circle of color. I did stamp it twice just to make sure I had a really good impression. And I used my Misti for this for that same reason, because sometimes I don't get a good stamping the first time. And I do have a Waffle Flower Mat in the back, so that actually holds the cardstock there. And then now we're just going to adhere everything together. So I think this card turned out super cute. I would love to know what you guys think. If you want to let me know, leave me a comment so I can hear your thoughts. Or if you have any thoughts on, maybe a future live, what you'd like to see, if there's anything that might be of interest to you, let me know. I'm happy to go over a technique, or we can make a certain card. Like if I've made a card in the past and you'd like to see it slowed down, we can definitely do that. We can do that in a live video, maybe just do different colors or something. So let me know. I really want the live content to be a community thing, that I get to sit down and I visit with you guys and we work on a technique that maybe you're struggling with, or, that kind of stuff. Because I can just make videos, I don't have to do lives. So I really want it to be kind of a community affair where we sit down together and make something, or, just have a really fun chat. So let me know if you have any thoughts that direction. And then of course I did need to bring in some sequins because I feel like all the bling is necessary. So I laid them out. I did end up putting out 9 sequins, which is more than I usually do, but it was just because I wanted to fill a little bit of the left-hand side space, just because this is kind of right side heavy. So to add a little bit more interest, I did add a few more sequins on the left-hand side just to kind of fill out the design a little bit. And I think it turned out pretty cute. I love these cups. I cannot wait to see what Tim Holtz comes out with. I know that he must be coming out with some new stuff soon, and I love his stuff. It's always so fun and so inspiring. So I'm really excited to see if there's new stuff coming soon. But all right, guys, that is the card I made for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what your thoughts are. Leave me a like, leave me a comment, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. I do new videos every Monday and Thursday. And as I said, we will be adding some live content so that I can sit down and chat with you guys some more. So thank you so much. And make sure to jump over to the community tab and vote on a time, or let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much, guys. And I'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye for now.